because Chuck talks too much.
That is true.
Like driving to the show with him and Ape, I was about to turn on the stereo as loud as I could and tell Siri to play Freebird on loop or something so the noise would stop.
Yeah, I think he was just doing it to give you a poke. Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the show. We're just talking smack about Chuck because Chuck's on the road.
Right, and
You
he
ever been
can't
on a road trip
respond.
with Chuck? It's
Bless your
magical.
heart.
It's just,
It's bless your heart.
yes, it's magical. So speaking of road trips, where is it? It's right here. I am in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. Don't ask me where that is because I don't know either. And I'm actually here. It's kind of crazy. I'm going out to Yellowstone to hang out with the guys, and Chuck's going to be there. I get to sleep on Chuck's couch. Um, that's
In
kind of
his
the adventure.
motorhome.
Yeah.
So you're not taking your trailer? Are you just in the expedition?
No, I'm not even in the expedition. So it's kind of funny. There's like this
Oh,
whole
that's right.
logistics nightmare. I've got the F450, and the F450 has a plugged EGR system because somebody thought it was a really good idea to put diesel exhaust back into the engine. That's not going to cause any problems whatsoever. All that dirt should go on the ground where it came from, and it'll be fine.
Where God intended it to be. That's
Right.
right.
The expedition is so the 450 is in the shop. The expedition is at home with Mama, and that one's on the for sale block with a 20,000 mile engine in it, if even that much. Year-old engine,
Yeah,
and it's under
last year.
warranty. Yeah,
That was your
and then the
Louisiana
extended
expedition.
stay. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the old RV is for sale, and the new RV is not moved into yet because we've been taking care of other logistical issues, getting other stuff squared away, moving stuff around from all the different places I've got stuff stored at. It was time to clean up. And I had to do the giveaway stream on Friday night, and all that had to be shipped out, and that was fun. Let's see. So I rented a Tesla, and the first thing these guys said was, "You didn't go make it out there." Like I didn't go to the website first to verify that there were charging stations in the United States, and there are, and there's plenty, and it's fine. There'll be a video on the RV channel about it because it's kind of a travel adventure, and I'm having fun.
I don't doubt that there's charging stations in Wisconsin or Minnesota, but you're going to Yellowstone, so like that's
Wyoming.
yeah, there's not a lot there except
It didn't
like
when I plugged it in. It
coyotes
said
and mooses.
arrive in 14 hours or whatever the number is. It didn't say you cannot make it to this destination. Abort.
Okay.
It didn't
So
say
the
go
car's smart
God.
enough to tell you that.
Yeah, so you can actually go to their website and you can plot it out. Hi, I didn't do that. Jim left for a second.
I did. I had to itch my nose.
Find some nuggets. Oh, that's what the
No,
show's about.
just itch it. Just itch it.
Right. So it told me, where all the stops are. It tells you how long you're going to stop. My last stop was a half hour. It took the battery from 18% to 96%. And during that time, I, went to the bathroom. I grabbed some food, not at the bathroom. I planned out where I was going to stay for the night. And then I had 5 minutes to kill at the end of the charge. So, I booked the whole hotel and everything while I was sitting in the car chilling.
So a couple questions. Never had a Tesla, probably never will. Do you have to turn the car off when you're charging, or can you
Nope.
reciprocal so you can
I'm,
concurrently refuel like we called it in the Air Force?
yeah. I am,
Concurrent refuel.
yes. Unwrap, underway replenishment. Yeah. No,
Okay,
no,
that's
sorry.
a
I'm
squid. That's a
stationary.
Navy term.
Yeah.
That's a Navy term. Underway
Right.
replenishment.
But I
So
guess they're stationary when they do it too.
I don't know. I never was a sailor.
Right.
The other question I had was, do you have to pay money to plug in to charge, or is that like some kind of free Tesla love thing, or
So
what?
it's a weird thing. I don't know what the cost is really cheap. It tells you on the car's dashboard. So you take the charging handle, the plug, and you push the button on the side of the car and it goes whoop, and you put it in and they negotiate and they talk and it says, "Oh, that's your Tesla. Have some fuel." Electricity. And then when you sit in the car tells you, what your current state of charge is, how fast you're charging, how many kilowatt hours per
Right.
second or whatever is going into the battery, and how long it's going to take, and how far you can go on that charge. And then when it's done, it tells you how much it costs. And it doesn't cost a whole lot, but I'm taking this website called Turo, Turo, Turo. I guess they spelled touring wrong. Turo. and you can just rent people's private cars. And so it's like $71 a day to rent a Tesla. And I figure it's going to cost me $71 a day to drive the Expedition from Wisconsin to Wyoming and back.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of a wash, and at the end of it, I don't need an oil change and I don't need to put new tires on the car and I haven't had any wear and tear. And, you know,
That's interesting. So I wonder,
yeah,
I need to look into renting a Tesla for the Huntsville trip, maybe.
just something fun to do. Yeah.
Although I can't smoke in somebody else's Tesla, so
Right.
that idea is gone. Never mind.
Right. So I had a 2 hour work meeting today and I just sat in the park, air conditioning running, going nowhere. It was weird. Not gonna lie.
I assume it's super quiet.
It's a Model 3, Jeff. It makes noise. It's weird. So when I first got in the car and I told it where I was going, it's like, oh boy, hold on, preparing battery for supercharging, because it knew that it needed a whole bunch of charge in order to do it. So as I'm driving, you can hear the charger, like the same sound that your, lithium iron phosphate batteries use.
Keep
Will
going.
I was just like, I was saying LiFePO4 and lithium iron phosphate all at the same time. Um, yeah, it'll make that same charging sound, and then when you get to the charging station, it makes a whole bunch of noise. And I haven't been at a charging station long enough yet to set up a radio, but that's on the list of things to do. The first one I played with a HT and got it set up for APR speaking. He's on KM9G-12, so nobody come visit. I am armed, and if anybody causes me any harm, I will take appropriate action. But if anybody wants a hug, we can, I'll give you a hug. And then after that, it was dinner time, and now here I am at the show. And the charging station to the next hotel would have put me after the start of the show, so not doing that. So I'm off on the side of the road early.
What time did you? But you left pretty early this morning, didn't you?
I left at 10:30 ish this morning
Oh, okay.
from Maple Grove, and then I drove for a while to the first charging station, and then I drove to the nearest park for the meeting, and then I drove for a while to the second charging station, and ta-da! But I got plenty of time. I actually rented the car an extra day because I don't know anything about Teslas. This ought to be fun. You know me.
Right.
Just find out the plan is good enough to get you there, and then figure the rest of it out along the way. Like tonight's show, for instance. We're going to play with Raspberry Pi Connect. If y'all don't know the drama that's going on, and I say drama, I don't say drama. Drama is what you go pay to see in a theater. It's refined. It's culturally enlightening. It's the sociable thing to do. But this is drama.
Think you
The real
extended.
VNC, yes, the real VNC people have decided that you are no longer allowed to use their intermediary connection service for free, which is fine. They're allowed to do that. I don't care. So Raspberry Pi stepped up to the plate and made their own. And I looked at it and I went, this is slightly more than 5 seconds worth of work compared to the old, like enable the real VNC button and create an account and log in, which I did like 17 years ago when real VNC was not as popular as it is now.
I'm surprised that they have allowed it to be free as long as they have,
Mhm.
because it's a VPN free connection for non. I mean, it's pretty dang easy to set up. Like, yes, I
Yeah,
want to install it. Hallelujah, there we go. We're done. It's nothing
yeah.
to it.
And you don't need to like open up any ports on your firewall or anything. So your
Right.
server, your Raspberry Pi at home, wherever you happen to put it, will send its screens up to the cloud, somebody else's computer, and then your machine will go up to the cloud, somebody else's computer, and the magic handshake will happen there, and then the data will go back out to the two remote locations. And so that's the
Right.
magic. You can still run VNC without the real VNC service if you do all the firewall setup and the dynamic DNS and the blah 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 blah. You can connect directly to your own machine at home and get past their paywall, because VNC itself is open source and it was made by Oracle way back when. I think that's who made it.
Oh, man,
Could be wrong.
VNC is
AT&T.
VNC is over 25 years old.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
I
it
was
is
using it
back
in
in
the
the
2000s,
90s.
the
Yeah.
early, yeah.
And the interesting thing, and several people have mentioned it, there's other options for doing this. There's
Tons.
107 ways to connect remotely
Oh,
to
Jim,
any computer.
we can do this for the next 107 shows,
There you go.
like
Schedule
we did with
published.
SDR, right?
Right.
Now we know what we're doing. Tail scale next week, folks. No, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of VPN options, right? So my firewall supports like 3 or
Stay
4
safe,
kinds of
James.
VPN. I'm using one called TwinGate that the connector runs in a Docker container on my Linux box back here under the table. There's WireGuard, there's OpenVPN, there's yada, 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 yada VPNs, Tailscale. There's another one, Hamagotchi, something like that. Hamaguchi, I can't remember the name of it.
Hamagotchi sounds familiar.
Yeah, something like
Tamagotchi
that.
was the toy from the 90s.
Yeah. Mhm. So I mean, there's hundreds of options with VPN software alone. I lean toward being kind of a VPN guy sometimes, but I also have Real PC is what I use, and it runs on Linux, Mac, and Windows, and it does the same kind of thing as what this looks like it's going to do as well. I run the client here, and it connects to a mothership, and if I'm logged in my account, I can connect back to any of my PCs that are logged in. So there's
So,
100 ways to do this.
Chris in the chat, you never covered all of the SDR stuff. How about SDR Angel for the phone?
Oh, Lord.
What would you like to do with SDR software? You can actually, and I brought this stuff with me because it's another video that's coming out on the channel. You can connect an SDR dongle straight to your phone and do SDR stuff from your Android while you're out and about on the go.
Yep. We
And
could
then,
probably do another 100 SDRs. We could cover pretty much the rest of the year.
yeah.
And
Eric's wanting
half
to
of
know if
next
I
year.
can get to it from the Tesla web browser. Probably.
Oh, that would be.
I don't see why not. Oh, are you transmitting? Oh, you had a power outage. Your flex is blinking. How's the weather, Jim? You're muted. Jim says he's waiting for his mixer to reboot. That was interesting. So all you guys that are experiencing bad weather, stay safe out there. Earlier, I think it was Mike. See if I can find it. Said that he was in a straight line windstorm so bad that it blew the antenna off the roof. And Jim is gone. Went from the shirt matching his background to his shirt. Yeah, I did. Tune to MF frequency on the FT5DR and see if the Tesla is clean. Yep. I actually did bring a tiny SA with me. Stop at the salad bar in Fargo and the Oldsmobile dealer. True, true. I saw that movie. So tonight's show was going to be about Jim installing Raspberry Pi Connect on his machine and me seeing if I could connect to it from there. And I'm going to kind of need Jim for that. So, interesting. Dave, stay safe with the winds tonight. The winds are kind of crazy here. But headed out to Yellowstone. I brought all the gear you saw in the video I released today is what I brought with me in the car.
Power
Are you
died.
back?
I think so.
Yeah. That was a very quick bleep.
It was a bleep, but unfortunately the mixer is not on a UPS. So it went off. And then StreamYard conveniently changed all my audio settings to something completely different. And
Yes.
there, anyway. Yes, it just flicked. It was weird. The computer, all that was up because it's all on battery. But anyway, I'm sure you said something charming and clever. Are we ready to skin this chicken? I got to reshare now.
So actually, I just sat here in absolute silence, just stunned and shell-shocked, full of anxiety, not knowing what to do.
Right. Your show. Tell me where we are. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. So I guess ready to go is it. So there is a link I put in the chat earlier. That's the bag. So now I got to get that link again and share it out. But if you guys want to follow along and play along,
Oh, yeah.
y'all can
And
play along.
the pie's not on battery either. So we got to wait for it to boot up. Just a second.
Another 5 seconds, I would have let Frank come in and take your spot.
You know,
Frank can make Raspberry Pi blobs.
Frank needs to up his solder game now that he's got something that gets above room temperature in Death Valley. Oh, yeah. It's apparently going to storm here. Alexa, turn flex off.
Oh, watch it. Watch it. How slow is Alexa? Watch the blue light go out. You can't see me, but I'm staring hard at the blue light.
I see that. I figured
I think
that.
you need to give her a tip.
Alexa, turn flex off.
Don't make me tell you 3 times.
There you go.
It's blinking.
Yeah. Alexa, turn
Okay.
Astro off.
I don't know what Astro is.
The power supply.
Astron. Oh, I got it. Nice.
Okay.
Scram. Nice. I love it. Scram the reactor. That's a term I haven't heard.
I need to do that. She does some cool things. Alexa, 000 destruct 0.
Okay, I'll start the self-destruct sequence, but only on the understanding that you dramatically cancel it at the last second. Here we go. 3, 2,
Alexa, cancel. And it's better because the one in our bedroom is named computer, so I can say computer initiate self-destruct, and it's
Nice.
much more dramatic.
Nice.
Okay.
I've actually been inside of a nuclear reactor before. Fun fact.
Cool.
Copper Cliffs Nuclear Power Plant.
I've been to Fermi Labs in Batavia, Illinois, but that's not a nuclear reactor. That's a particle accelerator. That's the closest I've been.
Okay. Step 1, Jim.
I don't have instructions. I'm the one typing. You're the one
Oh.
instructifying.
Oh, okay. I don't know
The
what the
circle
instructions
is
are either.
now complete, Obi-Wan.
Right.
It's at that link you sent me that you posted in the chat.
I did.
Let me
So it
read-
says to use Connect, install the Connect software on your Raspberry Pi. Let's see. All right, open up a command prompt. You're already there. Sudo apt update, sudo apt upgrade
Already
to
did.
get the latest. Okay, awesome. And then sudo apt install rpi-connect. And they're talking about the host name of your machine. Remember the Rossi.
That's right. That's where it came from. All right.
Now there's a whole bunch of stuff. This is actually where I first saw this. When I did a upgrade on my Pi 5, this screen came out and I'm like, oh, we got to try this. So I guess we just need to do the system control thing. We distribute an alternate light variant of Connect that only supports remote shell access with no ability to screen share. Run the following command on your Raspberry Pi. We can only do that. So after you install RPi Connect, you should reboot.
That would be why.
But then, you can manually start it if you haven't already. Because it's the easy way. You don't have to reboot, but otherwise you'd have to know all of the startup scripts. Chris is asking, are you doing this via SSH? Yes. Jimmy's using a program called MOBA Xterm, I believe.
Yep. Which supports SSH, VNC, X Windows, and 72 other connection possibilities. Let's see.
Like RDP.
Yeah, all of these things. Oh, the screen stopped sharing when it.
Lake Anna is only an hour away. Nuclear reactor there. Are you making fun of how I say nuclear? I said nuclear.
That was the George Bush way.
Yeah, nuclear.
Yeah, Telnet, SSH, RSH, XDMCP, RDP, FTP, SFTP, Serial, Shell Browser, Mosh, AWS, and Windows Subsystem for Linux.
I think Mosh is like a new version of SSH that properly reconnects or something like that.
Interesting. Did not know that.
It's been a long time.
All right. Let's get
Ronald says he wasn't shouting at us. He just said caps lock by mistake. Can you tell Chuck that, that's
Please.
not a valid excuse? He hits caps lock by mistake at least 19 times a day.
All right. Now I don't remember that dang command. Oh, there it is.
That one?
Still. All right.
Because
Talk to me, Goose.
it should. It says system control. To start the service management command line, run the following command. It doesn't say to be root. System control -- user space start rpi connect. Not, it doesn't say dash service. I realize that doesn't matter. There we go.
Okay.
Now
It liked
why?
that.
What did you do wrong?
I did it as root. It didn't like it as root. It said no medium found. I tried it with the dash user and
Okay.
without.
So because it's a remote control service, it doesn't want to allow you to open your machine up for remote controlling as root. Okay,
That
so
makes
now
sense.
it is. Jim's part is done. Let me see if I can find my part.
Well, no, I think I have to create an account or something.
Now that you've installed Connect on your Pi, you must associate your Pi with your Raspberry Pi ID to use Connect. If you do not have a Raspberry Pi ID, create
I
one.
do not know if I have
And
one.
I'm going to put it in the private chat for you for a web link. And then create it with some, password you'd like to share with me.
Actually have to go to id.raspberry.com, which is, I was there already. Let's see.
Connect to generate a verification URL, visit the URL, and sign into your Pi ID to add your Pi to your account.
Oh, I have to click on images. This is a new one. Click on images similar to the sample image. Okay.
So, Chris, fun fact, I lived within the 10-mile inclusion zone of the nuclear power plant. I think I might have actually been within the 5-mile inclusion zone. And for the first 14, 15 years of my life, the disaster preparedness plan included go in the direction where the fallout is coming from as the instructions on how to evacuate the area. Like they wanted you to go downwind, which means the wind would be blowing the radiation towards you, not go upwind to go away from where the wind is blowing the radiation towards. So that had to be changed. And I may be getting
Okay.
that backwards, but understand the nuances of what I'm
I,
trying to
I,
say.
I think you got that backwards, Chief.
It's like mathing on stream, but the documentation was wrong. Thank you, government.
Okay, so we have a Raspberry Pi ID.
Okay, cool. So now there is a command line, since you're at the command line, rpi -connect space sign in.
Uh,
And don't share your screen when you do this.
I'm not. Oh,
You are done. I removed it.
thank you.
And
I got
then you need to use that web browser on any other computer, that web URL on any other computer.
okay.
Was I near 3 Mile Island? I was in southern Maryland. I was in St. Leonard. Nobody I know lives there anymore. But 3 Mile
Do
Island is
you
like in Pennsylvania, isn't it?
you need to post this link? Guess I'm supposed to do-
I didn't hear you. It garbled.
Can you hear me okay?
Your potato. It was
I
moving at half the speed of smell.
audio in this computer today.
Jim has a bad storm in his area.
Yeah. Internet out.
Nice.
Let me reset the mic. I was trying to edit video yesterday. That's what I'm seeing right now.
And that is Jim's weather. Lightning
Yeah.
has been detected in your area. All right, what you are seeing is sign in with your Raspberry Pi ID. Yeah, so do this because this is getting your side of your device connected to their cloud service.
Okay.
But you passed it a special number, and that's
Yeah.
how it knows. So this is Rasanate. Device sign in successful. Awesome. On to step 3. Finish linking. Visit the verification URL generated in the previous step. Sign in to connect. After authenticating, assign a name. You did that. And then a device has signed into your account. If this was you, there's nothing for you to do. If you don't recognize this, you can delete its access. But you recognize it because we just did it. Okay, so now I need to visit connect.raspberrypi.com on any computer. You go to that tab. And then, let's see, sign in with your Raspberry Pi ID. And then what was the email and password that you wanted to share with me?
The password's in this chat, the private chat. The email's my jp@feplabs.com. Is the audio any different?
I hear you fine.
Okay.
Private chat. I don't know that I can remember that. Delete password. Oh, save that password forever. Yeah. Rasanante last seen. So I can do a remote shell. Connect via screen sharing or remote shell. Let's do remote shell first. And it opened up a new window. So let's stop share, present, share screen, window, remote share, add to
Does it
stage.
show you in? Doesn't show you there.
Not yet. Waiting for a response from your machine. You can now use your Pi as you would locally. For more information about the connection, hover your mouse over the padlock.
It's not asking anything.
And this is where it all went sideways, folks. Oh, there we go. It's a screen update thing.
Okay.
So because that screen wasn't the foreground screen, it was just staying at the background screen and not doing a repaint.
It's storming, and now the dog is going to go full stupid.
So this is a Raspberry Pi 4B. It has 8 gigs of RAM. It has
Come here,
4
Grace.
CPUs. Look at Jim being all sweet. Not like he is to us.
You're not a 13-year-old dog.
Can I type?
Thankfully,
right?
she doesn't bark or howl. She just wanders around in racetrack pants.
Oh, they updated HTOP. Now it tells you the core temperature. Awesome.
So this seems a little slow. I shudder to think of what the graphic would look like.
There's a tiny bit of lag. Like this, the full screen of the LS was fine, but as I'm typing faster than it's showing up on the screen.
Then it's showing. Don, this should work through CGNet because the app is tunneling out from my computer.
Let's see what kind of hard disk space he's got.
Apparently,
8 gig, 16 gig SD card.
Yeah, not a very big one.
And then let's see. Does he have his Flex connected to this? No, he's got nothing connected to it.
Well, the Flex is off, as you may know. No, this is a Pi I keep on the desk for doing this stuff with you, Chief. That's about it.
So Jody's asking if my traffic is direct point to point now that the session is up or being bounced through the UK. I don't know how I would find that out. Let's see.
We'd have
On
to run
my end,
TCP dump or Wireshark and do a capture and see which way the traffic's flowing.
well, let's see. I'm looking at who I'm connected to with Netstat on my laptop. Friggin' Mac OS, it's huge. The list scrolls off the screen.
Andy Cowley has been a member for 42 months. Very good, Andy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Geekiest guy points out that like button owes y'all money. Slap it.
It does, it does. I'm not used to doing this on Mac OS.
Chris
Let's see what
Bricker,
this
it's the
says.
name of a ship on the Expanse. I think that was Don Quixote's horse, wasn't it? Rocinante? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Vaguely. No, I named it after the ship on the Expanse. All the computers
Yeah,
here have ship names.
so these are the established connections. There's two connections to 176 network. 172.16 is your private network, right, Jim?
Yes.
And I'm in a hotel room, so let me see what mine is.
You're on 196, by the way, is what this guy's address is.
Yeah, mine is 196.168.1 dot something. So you can see that in your web control panel.
Let me see.
Refresh that.
Oops.
Don's already asking if you consider it secure.
I don't consider anything, Don. I don't use this normally, so I don't know what to tell you.
Chris is asking if the ship was an old broke down ship. It was a stolen ship from the
Mars Confederation.
quote unquote enemy or something like that. They
Yeah,
liberated it.
They liberated it from the MCRN, the Mars Congressional Republic Navy ship, the Tachi or Tochi, whatever. The Tachi, I think. And they renamed it Rocinante. I mean, this doesn't show anything different. Oh, this might.
Martian Navy Corvette.
Yes.
It was legitimate salvage, like a quote from the show.
Right. Yeah, I can't remember how they got it, but yeah.
It was salvage. I remember that.
This doesn't show me much of anything.
The website isn't showing anything at all. It doesn't. No, it shows a green light next to remote shell being connected.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna try and connect over.
When I
screen
share that
sharing.
tab, it says that. So
Waiting for a response from Rocinante.
Chris, all my
Peer-to-peer connection
computers here
established.
have ship names of one sort or another. Dallas from a movie. Enterprise, pretty damn obvious. And so on.
So these are web clients. This is a web page that opened up. Connect.raspberrypi.com/devices is the web URL. It's a Chrome window, which is really weird because it shows up in a new window. So I want to oh, this is slow. I want to Command Tab to get over to it, and I can. I have to Command Grave. This is very slow. I can feel the mouse.
Don't worry, Mr. Ryan. My Morse is so rusty, I'm sending dimensions for the Playmate of the Month. I can see pixels. I mean, and this is an 8 gig Pi 4. This is painful.
It's the internet connection.
Oh, yeah, at your hotel, probably. I mean,
so
I have
4 megs
I have 40 up.
And I have 45 down.
And you're streaming on it, too.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Speedtest.net, isn't it?
Yes. Or fast.com. That's probably
Let's
not
support
someplace you want to
Netflix.
go.
Yeah, this is definitely peer-to-peer lag. Peer-to-peer-to-peer lag. 72.
Oh, the power's dimming.
52 up. 60 up. 58 up. Well, it's a good thing the show's over with.
Yeah, if I disappear, you know why.
All right, let me stop that. Let me do a new tab here.
It keeps browning out. Somewhere there's a tree
Is it?
bouncing in a power line.
There we go. That's my download speed. I'm not paying extra for premium internet here. Oh, yeah.
I love you
That's what the
guys. Look
problem
it
is
up.
right there.
Yeah, that blistering upload speed. These guys are
It's like the
awesome. I'm getting
D-Star.
all sorts of Hunt for Red October quotes in this chat. It's awesome. That's right.
Yeah, it was like 4.5 before I started streaming. The server in the middle running at 486. I'm going to say that it's the hotel upload speed. But this is a fancy hotel because I have grayscale pictures behind me here, and that's how you know it's fancy.
That is quality right there.
One ping only. Eamon can probably do a good Scottish accent too.
They just Scottish accent. It was a Russian accent. By a
Yeah, but it was a Scot doing a Russian accent.
One ping, Mr. Kamarov. One ping only. We must give this American a wide berth.
See, no, that was Scottish. No, that was Connery. I wouldn't
That
really
was
say it was
Connery.
Scottish. Yeah. Frank says he has a good show idea. We want to continue if you disappear, Jim. I'm scared.
Yeah. Thankfully, it held off raining. So Saturday, when they were mowing the grass, apparently I caught a rock to the rear driver's side window of my truck.
Ouch.
And I didn't know it because I didn't go anywhere Saturday, right? And so I go out to the truck yesterday morning to get cigarettes probably out of the truck. And I'm missing the window completely. And there is a billion pieces of glass on the ground and inside my truck.
Frank's trying to be all coy. No, Frank, it is, in fact, not the window that someone broke. It's the window that K8MRD broke.
Yeah, it is the window that K8MRD broke. So
I
they're
have no
coming
problem
tomorrow.
ham-shaming him.
They are coming tomorrow to replace it. So I had some plastic and I taped plastic over it yesterday. And this morning on my way to work, and I didn't go anywhere yesterday. I just got the plastic taped over to keep the bugs out, right? Alabama mosquitoes and wasps and yellow death jackets and all that kind of flying stuff. So this morning I go to work, and as I walk out and get in my truck, I realized that, I wonder how well that's going to hold. And B, I put that on the inside of the door. So if it rains, all the water's going to run into that.
Funnel.
Well, that's awkward.
Did you put a drip loop in it?
Yeah, no, I did not. So I'm like, well, Hail Mary. And I went. And I told my minion at work, I said, if I bug out, it's because I'm missing a window and,
Yeah.
So I got home and no rain. Got under the carport, all good. Now it's pouring down rain. But the guy's supposed to come to work tomorrow and fix the window, so hopefully it's not raining. And let me tell you, driving down the road with a ghetto plastic window.
Reminded you of your childhood?
I don't know what it reminded me of. It was annoying as hell. It was worse than a little sister.
So, Jim, on your machine, connect to yourself via. I'm sharing your screen out. Connect to yourself via GUI and bring Chrome up. Because one of the problems that VNC had was for some reason Chromium over VNC was slow.
We need to share share a different window.
Kathy's giving you shit, Jim. She knows you too well.
What did she say?
Only Jim would put it on the inside.
I didn't want the tape to pull the paint off because I'm using speed tape. Yeah.
Because it's a Ford. Fords have bad paint. I could say that. I own more Fords than Jim does.
All right. Do we want to do screen sharing or remote
Screen
shell?
sharing.
And it opened a new window.
Yep.
Share this tab instead.
Chuck is typing for Kathy. Okay. All right. I'm sharing your screen. And then bring up Chromium.
I'm not getting any lag. Here it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's nice and fast.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any typing lag or anything else.
Go to your YouTube channel and play a video. I mean, then you're asking the world. I think responsive is the word we're looking for. Yeah.
Yeah. Cyber Jason dropped a $5 super chat.
Thank you very much, Cyber Jason. Jim doing the sound effect of the plastic was worth the cost of admission. Now they're making Ford jokes at our expense. Hey, I don't know. I drive a Tesla, y'all. Chris, I was going to say the same thing. Oh, that
I
wood
don't
paneling just sets off that Kenwood.
hear anything.
You don't have any speakers connected. Yeah, you shouldn't hear anything.
Yeah, okay, that's
It
true.
would be actually kind of interesting if you did. Oh, Chuck is driving. Kathy's typing. So that means that everything that gets typed will be in English and not in all uppercase, and will be in complete sentences.
And we won't be worried that Charles is having a stroke. Kathy, we worry
That's not
about that
bad
a
at
lot.
all. Jody's saying stats for nerds, and I forget how to access the stats for nerds thing. I think you right click on the timeline.
It's down here in the settings, I think.
Try it.
No.
Where is it, Jody? Right click on the vid. But captions will do good. Stats for nerds. 1280 by 720.
It's 60. Oh, it just dropped
640 by
down.
360. Yeah, you just shrunk the screen, so that's why.
I actually embiggened the screen here.
Oh, it hasn't finished going full screen. This is something weird that YouTube does on the Pi. It takes it a minute to go to full screen.
Well, I'm getting a little cursor lag now. Yeah, it thinks it's in full screen.
So full screen is going to be weird on the remote head Pi because there isn't actually a screen attached. And Chromium on the Pi has a special video codec in it. So that helps. Certainly in this situation when you're not using it at all and you're using the internet.
Special weather statement until 8 p.m. CDT. Okay.
After being inside the TS480, the 570 is just a dream to work on. Everything's all surface mount and clean, and there's no point-to-point wiring.
Strong thunderstorms. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, I mean, that's not terrible. This is probably the exact opposite of any way I would really ever watch a video, but...
Oh, we're just shoving bits through the wire right now.
Yeah.
So in theory, this is going from your house out to the internet and back to
It's going to
your
some
house.
server somewhere, yeah, because the speed test is terrible. It's not going over my LAN, that's for sure. It's proxying this connection through their server. Because it was only showing, what, 40 or 60 meg down. I have a gig connection. So, yeah, it's proxying me somewhere.
So this is more than usable for a ham station.
Yes. Yes. And Jody is exactly right. This is remote desktop access. This is not a streaming solution. I ain't going to watch Netflix through this. That's correct. Because the pain it's real. Where did that window go? There it is. Okay. We're going to kill that. And we'll kill that. And I assume that logged me out of it. Huh. Okay.
Jim's house to the CIA, to the NSA, to the DHS, to the FCC, to the FAA, to
Right.
StreamYard, to YouTube, going back through all of those.
Hey, Don. What's up?
I always think it's funny when people make jokes about Chinese radios sniffing your data. First off, it's RF, not internet. And second, how's it going to get over 2 meters back to motherland
Right.
China?
So it
And it's like,
has a
no.
secret Wi-Fi dongle that sniffs my internet connection
Yes.
and then reports back to the China mothership over whatever random Wi-Fi I might be near that it's sniffed out the WP Enterprise password or whatever, please.
Which is completely different than the U.S. government just buying it from your internet provider.
Right. Google tells them more than China gets. So Don said it's Chrome Remote Desktop. Are you saying that because it's based on Chrome Remote Desktop, or is that just an analogy you're making? I've
Well, we
played with
installed
Chrome
a
Remote
service.
Desktop one time when it came out, like, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, and never looked back at it because it sucked then. I don't know if it still does or not.
Present, share screen, window, Raspberry Pi Connect, share,
Both.
add
Okay.
stage. Let's see.
I mean, we did it, and we're only at 47 minutes, Steve.
So it says
Yeah.
Connect uses, stop that. Connect uses a secure encrypted connection by default. Connect communicates directly between your Pi and your browser. However, when Connect can't establish a direct connection between Pi and browser, we use a relay server. In such cases, Raspberry Pi only retains the metadata request required to operate Connect. So that's interesting. While you're still connected, Jim, you should be able to see an established connection from local IP to local IP, where I saw a 176 address.
172?
Well, 172 for you, but I'm a 192 here. You're a 172 there. Those are non-routable. The
Right.
person in the middle of us was 176.
Oh, okay. I don't know who
So
that
you should
is.
not. Yeah, it's one of our ISPs.
I think I don't remember my IP address, but my external, it ends in 43.75. That's all I remember off the top of my head.
So in your remote shell or your screen share with the shell open, if you're still connected.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
try and
that.
see.
You want to go back to that? Okay, hang on.
Yeah, try and see how you're connected.
Well, I mean, I still have a SSH session to it right now. Waiting for response. Okay.
151, 101, 172, 176. So I need to disconnect to get me out of the way.
Here.
All right, I am completely disconnected.
Okay, now what do we want to do here?
Do netstat-na pipe to grep capital E, capital S, capital T for established. -NA.
Missed the N.
And then no
Oh, shit.
dash, just grep, and then EST, capital EST.
Oh, established. Yeah, I didn't catch everything you said.
And then if you unbiggen that a bit, your font size,
There you go.
all right, and rerun the command so it doesn't wrap.
Uh,
Oh, you're still in more.
let's get rid of more. I can scroll back. Is that
There we
better?
go. Yeah. So you got a bunch of other connections on there too.
This machine has VNC on it already.
So 173, 194 to 443 is probably YouTube. Are you still in your screen sharing session?
No, I killed it.
Did you just close the window, or did you actually like log out, disconnect, close
I
program?
just X'd out of the window.
Because if you go back, I bet YouTube's still open and playing that video.
I'd have to open another session.
We have 40 minutes to kill, Jim. Let's do it.
Well, I was kind of hoping, maybe. Oh yeah, it's still cooking. Ah, that's hysterical. Share the tab instead. It never left.
Nice.
It's in the middle of the video. Disconnect.
It's still in the middle of the video. If you reconnect, it'll still be there.
I disconnected now.
Right, but you disconnected the screen sharing. You didn't stop.
Oh,
what
this
the
is
computer was
doing like, okay, this didn't. Let's see. Mm-hmm.
See?
You're right. Okay. I would have thought it would have just killed the whole thing.
Yeah. Unfull screen, close Chrome. Clean up your room, Jim. Clean your room.
Yeah.
No dessert for you tonight.
No soup for you.
Yeah, Michael, this is a lot like TeamViewer, a lot like VNC. All right. Now, if we go back to the other session, hopefully the connections to YouTube will be gone. I'm trying to remove all the connections from the netstat command so we can see. So rerun the netstat command, and half that nonsense should be gone.
Yep. Let me get the window the right way. There we go.
All right. So, yep, no external connections. We got rid of. Oh nope, sorry, I'm reading the wrong column. We got rid of half of them. We got rid of 151.
They're all gone. Those are all.
You got some 176s in there.
There's a 176. Yeah. Two of them, which I assume is the mothership
Yeah.
for this.
So is this over your MOBA Xterm, or is this over the Chrome remote?
This is the Chrome
desktop
remote.
thing?
This is the Chrome remote.
Okay, so close out of this and go back into Xterm.
Okay. It would be helpful
Yes,
if
they
you
are
could
HTTPS.
share more than one window at a time.
Yeah, I believe that's Pablo. VA3HDL, yeah.
Yes.
So that's how it busts through the firewall. It just uses HTTPS, which is open on every firewall on the planet.
Okay.
Okay, so from here, do that netstat command again. You forgot the pipe symbol. Nagrep
I
And
didn't
Jalal.
forget it. I just
at Tanagra.
didn't type it.
Okay, now up arrow until you get to that system control user start RPi connect and change start to stop, and then run netstat again.
Yep. Go on.
So that's what it was. 176 is their mothership connection. So it's, what is it? Read out that IP address to me. 176 dot
126, 241, 153.
Actually, it might be easier if you did it right from the command line there. Type in who is, all one word, and then that IP address. It'll tell you who owns it.
I was letting you roll with it.
I was going to do it on my side, but then I have to like stop your screen, find my screen, share my screen. We're already there.
6, 2, 4.
Oh. You ain't root, son. Pseudo bang bang. Troy, we're making it up as we go along, brother. If you got something interesting you want to see, let me know. Within reason.
I mean, there's a lot of things on this stream you do not want to see. I didn't want to do that.
Peter Stevens, Cambridge.
Cambridge.
Keep scrolling up.
Yeah,
MythicBeasts.com? I don't know. Jimmy, you've been hacked?
I don't think so. Since this
I mean, it is
machine's
in
been
beta.
off. All right.
Keep scrolling up. You probably haven't gone up far enough.
Yeah.
No,
there
you
it
did.
is.
Okay.
Yes.
Because what it'll do is it'll tell you the bigger class and then who owns the subnet and then who owns that subnet and all the way down to the last version.
Well,
normally.
not if they own, and apparently they own 4 Class Cs. They probably
Mythic
have
Beasts.
it broken up differently, but yeah.
So who is MythicBeasts.com?
Mythic-beast.com.
Raspberry Pi 4 servers. It's a Raspberry Pi hosting service. Nice. Let's do stop screen, present, share screen, Chrome tab, Mythic Beasts, share it, go back to StreamYard. There we go.
So it's an ISP
Yeah. They do
hosting.
WordPress hosting, virtual servers, US, Netherlands, and the UK, DNS API. I saw something in here, free SSL. There it is, Raspberry Pi servers. That's funny. You can rent a Raspberry Pi server. A Raspberry Pi 3.
For the love of God, why? That is expensive. £575 for a Pi 3. You can get a Pi 4 from DO for.
Well, this is the oh yeah, from DigitalOcean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pay monthly. On
For
demand.
about $6 a month.
Build per second. So 12 months for the price of 10 if you pay yearly. That's funny. Who would have thought
Well, that's what
that you could
That's what Toads
Yes.
originally ran on, was a Pi 4 instance on DigitalOcean.
So who would have thought that you could like make a business out of renting Raspberry Pi space?
Right.
Oh, maybe for an episode of Nuggets where I don't want to build on my local Raspberry Pi, and we can build slowly over the internet by the minute, being built by the minute. Right, Jody? I mean, somebody's got to host it. The Raspberry Pi Foundation could very easily have contracted with Mythic Beasts. Now, I wonder if the Raspberry Pi Foundation is using Raspberry Pi 4s that they rented from Mythic Beasts in order to do this.
I'm with Hank. I think a VM would. Well, it is. You can get a 1 gig Pi 4 from DigitalOcean for $6 a month. Now, there's some limits on bandwidth and all that, but we never poached them with Toads. I set up Toads Digital originally, and it was $6 a month.
Yeah, it's $575 for 1 terabyte of bandwidth. Not terabit, terabyte.
Which is actually a fair amount.
Especially for ham radio voice over IP.
James Cook, I agree with you. DO is DigitalOcean. It's cloud hosting like Linode. Same kind of thing.
Yeah, but remember Raspberry Pi is a UK-based company, so they'd use a
Yep.
UK-based hosting company.
Yep.
And Eamon's saying that the prices in the UK are high. Eamon, sorry.
Eamon. I think
I
it's
pronounced that American. It's spelled in American Eamon, but it's pronounced in Irish Eamon.
And James is Seamus, I believe, and
Could be.
think. I can't remember. Yeah, Don, I probably wouldn't run my porn server on this now.
Well, I mean, it really depends on the file system performance more than
Right.
anything else at that point.
Oh, I mean, if you're hosting some 320 by 200 porn from 1987, this would work fine. Bob's your uncle.
Pi zero. Thanks, Eamon. 2 nibbles and a bite. I thought a nibble was a half a bit. I don't know. 2 bites in a word, yep. But is it big Indian or little Indian?
Right. Okay.
Bob's your uncle, one of the video titles on Jim's server. That's about as far as I'm going to. I'm only going to repeat stuff from the chat. The grounds
Now
that may
that you
incriminate
mention
me.
that, Jody, that does sound a little creepy. Bob's your uncle. The creepy uncle, apparently.
4 bits and a nibble. That's what I thought. Actually, I used to run an internet hosting company way back when.
And you
I had
sell
a-
cars, and you're a real estate mogul.
I do everything, man. I like to play. Don't forget, I'm a shepherd. I raised sheep and cows and pigs
That's
and
true.
chickens and ducks and geese
Do you have
and
goats
turkeys.
too?
I mean, not the way you did, but
Y'all think I'm sketchy. Mm-mm. That guy.
and Commodore spelling it of Colonel, Kernal, the Kernel.
Mm-hmm. Or nibble,
Jiffy.
Nybble. Jody, that's
Jiffy
you
is
Canadians and
6
British that
years.
spell everything. You add extra U's to a lot of words. Color, O-U-R, favor, O-U-R. Or is that just a
So
British thing?
didn't we all have a hosting company at some point? Mine is actually still running in the same place where I left it, no less. I mean, I don't have anything to do with it anymore. That's 2 owners ago was me, but it's still pretty cool that they still have the same stuff forever. Like I set up the infrastructure properly, and then they sold it. I'm not sure what they're running now that it's been sold, but I think it was sold. I want to say like 4 years ago was the last time it was sold.
I have
Cool
no
stuff.
claim like that. I never ran a hosting company. The best I can tell you is that when I was working for an InfoSec company doing penetration testing kind of stuff, right? It's network
Red
security
team
audits.
has the flag.
Yeah, red teaming. And we did a large state. We won't mention which state. Not the largest state, not the smallest state. It is humid.
Begins
in
with
that
A
state.
and ends with A.
Could be. Could be Alaska, could be Alabama, who knows? So this is in 2001. And we do this, we're using internet security scanner, and the state had a very large flat network. And they had added a whole bunch of state agencies to their large flat network that didn't used to have internets. One of them was an agency I had worked for 7 or 8 years prior when I worked for the state. So fast forward 8 years, we're running an internet security scanner. I installed a whole bunch of Unix machines, IBM 320s running AIX 3.2, I think. The agency that I installed all those for when I was working for that agency still had all those machines. They originally were on a private X25 network to interconnect to the state's mainframe. That's the only internetworking they had. They had not changed the root password. All the service accounts still had the same password that I originally set up in 1994. That was awesome. That's the best I got. I never,
Yep.
other than
I
being a
had
quasi-professional YouTube star, I got nothing.
so to make kind of mainframe do FT8, yes. So from an interesting historical fact perspective, my internet service provider original data center was in a building that was the Atlantic Southwestern Broom Company, and I was attached to a higher up internet provider called Skynet Web, and it was within line of sight of the Natty Boh Brewing Company in downtown Baltimore. And then I moved across the harbor to another building that they used to build Pullman Railroad cars in, I think they didn't build the chassis. I think they did all the like interior framing and trim and everything because the space that I had inside that building was like ridiculously trimmed out for what it was. Like, why did they put so much trim in this? Because that's what they did. They built out fancy railroad cars. So they had the talent in house, so they used it. I had four T1s there. I started off with a Cisco 2600 router with a couple of T1 cards in it, and then I upgraded. I found PCI T1 cards. That was the first lawsuit I was in. That was fun. And then from there, I switched over to Equinix, which is in Northern Virginia, and I built a router. I think it was a Compact server back when Compact was still Compact. And I got that machine because it had the most amount of PCI slots in it. I put 6 PCI NICs in it, and back then 3Com was the big brand name to use. So these were all
Oh yeah.
3C595s, I want to say.
Single
Um,
port or multi-port cards?
Single port, 6 cards, all of them connected to 6 different networks, all of them at 100 megabits per second. So
Not
600 megabits
503s,
per second.
3C503s? That might be a
I'm gonna say it was
fancier
the bigger
card.
one. I'm gonna say it was
Okay,
the bigger
then
ones I
that
had.
might have been a fancier card.
Michael,
Everything we
correct.
had was the 503s.
Michael's like the first lawsuit, probably not the last. That's true. So if you haven't been sued in your life, you're just not doing anything interesting. And I
I
don't mean that
haven't
in an
been
offensive way.
I haven't been sued since I got rid of my ex-wife. So
Right. I mean that technically that is true. Going through a divorce is a lawsuit, but
oh
you're not
no,
you're
this
not
was
running up
before we
against
were
the
divorced.
that too. So twice for you then. Same woman.
Y-
Jeez.
Yes.
So that machine was a Linux machine running Red Hat. This was Red Hat
Oh.
7 before Red Hat
When
Enterprise
it was
Linux.
cool?
No, no, I was running Fedora. Sorry, I was running Fedora. And I was running a software package called Zebra that did all the routing. And then we switched to OpenBSD and we ran Quagga, which was an upgrade from Zebra because Quagga is just a little bit shorter than a Zebra.
We ran 3Com at the state when I was working there. We installed 3Com, 3C 503 NICs in the PCs. And the building, when it was built, which was like 89, they had AT&T premise wiring, which I think was Cat 3. And so my boss, who loved him some 3Com more than he should have, bought every dingus that 3Com sold. And they bought these things called pair tamers. And it was a balun that would go from RJ45 Cat 3 wiring that was wired to each cubicle as a serial connection to this pair tamer dingus. It's a balun. It's a balanced to an unbalanced connection, which went out to ThinNet. And then we got everybody on 10
I think that's 10 base 2.
Huh?
ThinNet is 10 base 2, BNC
Yes, 10
connections.
base, 10 base 2, yes.
Not arguing.
And so that's how we did the LAN. And
10
then,
base 2 because it was almost 200 feet that you
Yeah.
could run the data. It was 182 feet.
well, the thing with the 3Com stuff that was always weird, and it bit me once or twice, 3Com, so if the IEEE spec for 10 base 2 was 200 meters, right, which is what I think it is, right? 3Com would say you can actually run this. It might have been 200 feet. I don't remember, whatever the hell 10 base 2 spec is. I think it's 200 meters. Does that seem right? No, that can't be right. That ain't
It was
right.
182 feet, which is why it was base 2. It was
So
almost
it's 200 feet.
almost 200
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah, not 200 meters, because regular Ethernet on Cat 5 is 100 meters. Anyway, so with the 3Com gear, 3Com said if you're going from 3Com crap to 3Com crap, here is the spec. If you're going from 3Com to non-3Com, then you need to go with God and follow the IEEE standard. So we had all sorts of 3Com stuff. We were running 3+ open and then 3+ share, or vice versa. One was DOS based and then the other one was OS2. So I think 3 plus share was DOS, and 3 plus open was OS2 based for file servers. And then he bought hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of big enterprise hubs for the network. This is in 1994 or 5, 6, somewhere back there. But 3Com, yeah, they used to be a deal back in the day. Never did ArcNet. Somebody in the chat asked about that. I never did ArcNet. I never did Token Ring. I flirted with Banyan Vines.
I did Vines for the Navy. Well, for the
class
Marine
on it
Corps.
or once or twice or something. I don't remember.
Yep.
Some side gig I was doing, which is mostly just wiring and firing their server up. But
yep. I worked for the Marine Corps for a while. Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps came and visited me, thanked me for my assistance, not my service, different thing. And then I worked for the Navy. I worked for Northrop Grumman. Northrop Grumman's data center was pretty cool. If you walked in and took your RJ45 cable and plugged it into the wall, physically present, you would not get any data whatsoever because they had taken every single port on every single switch and locked it down so that only the proper MAC address plugged into that port would respond. It would not connect if you didn't have the right MAC address on your machine that you were plugging in. And then they had the anti whatever it is, the curtains on the windows so you couldn't read the CRTs from across the street. So they had RF curtains on the windows because CRTs put out enough RF that you could actually see the picture remotely with the right device.
yeah, the Air Force worried about that a lot in the 80s. They called it Tempest.
Yep, Jason got it.
So, yep.
That was pretty cool.
Okay. I mean,
but their security was really tight.
I have other old people stories too. I hate Mac security. The guy that predated me at my current company had that on, and then he was always amazed when they rearranged people that their internet stopped working. So he would reboot the switch because their internet stopped working. No, dumbass, it's because you have Mac security turned on and the switch knows what happened. I hate Mac security. I turned the crap off. It's not on at all. It's annoying.
Spanning tree was my fun spanning tree protocol.
Yep.
Plug a switch into itself and wait. It'll figure it out.
Yeah. Or it'll blow up. So Big John is saying 10 base 2 goes 607 feet.
He's saying 10 base 5. Well, no, sorry. Big John didn't. Somebody else said the right number.
10 base 5 will go longer.
Yeah. ThickNet. I love that name. ThickNet.
Well, we called it frozen yellow garden hose. I worked as a contractor for the Air Force, installing LANs in the Air Force transportation offices at multiple Air Force bases. And every one of them was in a World War II era dusty-ass warehouse building. And we ran ThickNet for the backbone, and then we had to make our own connectors because our boss was too cheap to buy anything pre-made. And we had to make our own drop cables, the transceiver cables, as well. And we didn't have vampire taps. So we had to cut the freaking frozen yellow garden hose, fashion new connectors on the end of it to hook to the transceiver, make the transceiver cable, and he wondered why it took us so long to do installs.
But Jim, that made you into the man you are today.
Yes, a hateful, grouchy old bastard whose soul is as black as Satan's butt.
I wasn't saying it, but he's not wrong. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I worked for a lot of different companies, did a lot of different things. Pretty interesting. Carbon black plant. I have not been to a carbon black plant. So whenever I do like a job interview with somebody, I said I've worked in the vertical that you are in, and I've worked for your competitor or for the company that bought you. They're like, okay. My first day on the job at Northrop Grumman was funny because this was like one of my early jobs as a contractor. The guys were like, "Oh, this is Steve." I'm like, "Hey, Steve, how's it going? How long you been here?" And I'm like, 5 minutes, maybe 6. But what they were asking, what had routinely happened, is people would stay at Northrop Grumman for their career, and then they would just move buildings and departments and programs. So it wasn't uncommon to have a new kid on the program who had already been there for 25 years and had worked on, this plane or that plane or the other plane.
So, Jody, I need to address this. And you should go look up the Fat Electrician on YouTube and watch his video about the E4 Mafia. If you were ever military and you attained the rank of E4, it's a certain subculture. And the basic tenet of anyone who is in or has ever been in the E4 Mafia is the Shaggy defense. It wasn't me. Don't know.
John might be right, just to call that out. He said 185 meters is 607 feet. And I might have been confusing. Might have been confusing units,
Well,
but that's okay.
I couldn't remember because it's been 100 years since I've worried about 10 base 2, right? I've been on
There's only so much I can keep in here.
right.
And now it's all like ham radio crap.
Do you remember the scene at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark? The giant warehouse, the old guys pushing the Ark of the Covenant? That's the inside of my head.
Right? Fantastic.
And there's
the
an
tiny
old
Ram
guy-
land.
There's an old guy back there with roller skates that has to go open up dusty ass file cabinets that are way the hell back in section ZZZ752. Takes a minute.
There is a scene in Stargate where MacGyver is being pummeled by being pummeled by Daniel Jackson. And he's like, let me explain it to you. It'll make sense after I finish explaining to you. And he's like, I don't need to know. He's like, no, I have to explain it to you. Fine, explain it to me. So he explains it, and then O'Neill's like, I was right. I didn't need to know. And ever since that day, in like 1994, I'm guessing,
No,
is when I have
Stargate?
decided Stargate with Richard Dean Anderson.
Okay, that was after 94. That didn't start till 97.
Okay, but timeline is
To be
not
pedantic.
recent. Yeah,
To be pedantic.
but ever since that time, it's like I no longer have to memorize things that are written in a book somewhere. I can just go look them up.
Amen. That's right.
Yeah.
Amen.
Do not need to know. Plausible denial. They ask me what Abe's name is. I don't know. I can never let it slip because I don't know it. What's his call sign? I don't know. You ask me where he lives, I know where he lives. I've had to mail in packages before. The Smoking Ape.
Stargate is a great show. It is.
Yeah.
Farscape also, if you've never seen it. Claudia Black was in it before she was in Stargate. Claudia Black is smoking hot. Even prettier than Olivia Newton-John back in the 70s, Olivia Newton-John. Prettier than Battlestar Galactica Jane Seymour. If you know what I'm talking about, you're old.
Don is saying that Stargate's one thing Disney has not screwed up. Is that because Stargate's off the air now?
Stargate's been off the air, and I don't... Does Disney own Sci-Fi Channel, Don? I don't think so. I don't know.
So they moved to Atlantis. Stargate Atlantis was a new series that came out.
It was okay. I've seen all the Stargates.
Yeah. I don't know if they did anything after that, though.
Yes, there was Stargate Atlantis, and then there was Stargate Universe.
There was like one with kids in it, too, I thought.
That's Stargate Universe.
Okay.
Not a lot of kids, but there were kids. And I saw where Shannon Doherty died yesterday.
Mm-hmm. And Richard Simmons, too.
I didn't
Which
know
that
that
kind of
about
caught me
Richard
by
Simmons.
surprise. Richard Simmons was like a health nut. I saw him on WJZ in Baltimore doing his sweating to the oldies and deal a meal thing. And like, how could that man possibly die? He was so well eaten, well fed, eating. Shelley Duvall and Dr. Ruth. Man, it was just a hell of a weekend.
Doctor Who. I never really warmed up to Doctor Who a whole lot, mostly because I thought it was too campy. It reminded me of the 1970s Batman with Adam West and Burt Ward.
Amy Pond.
But the season or two with David Capaldi as the Doctor, I did watch because David Capaldi is a sarcastic, snarky Brit who is an awesome actor. And I'd seen him in a British TV show that was just absolutely hysterical. And so it's the only seasons of Doctor Who I've ever watched. And Big John, one day you and I will be on Jeopardy together on the IT show, and we'll show them Den Zers how we roll, brother. We can get Don on there. It'll be a trifecta of geezers.
I used to get down to like telling you what the differences were between the different versions of Pentium processors and 486s and stuff, and now I just don't give a hoot.
I quit keeping up with them when they went to the I stuff. I know there's 3, 5, 7, and 9, and maybe an 11. I don't know. And I'm like, whatever.
Well, it's like, what computer do you buy right now? Are you a power user? Buy the most expensive one on the market. It'll last you 2 years. Are you a home user? Buy the least expensive one on the market. It'll last you 5.
Yeah. So Bill makes an excellent point here. Jim Fix started running for his health, and he started Running Magazine and was a big running advocate and all that, and he died of a heart attack while he was running. And I would point out that the people who go climb Mount Everest are highly motivated individuals. And there are several hundred bodies at the top of Mount Everest of highly motivated individuals. So personally, I'm going to stay right here. It's all good. Just pointing that out. Highly motivated. I am not.
There was a show where they were showing this old guy sitting on his porch, drinking whiskey, smoking a cigar. He was like 107 or something like that. And I'm like, man. Meanwhile, Richard Simmons dies at 75.
Firefly, awesome show.
Mm-hmm.
And Serenity was a great follow-up movie. Kind of made me sad that they never really got to the backstory of the preacher guy, Venus Flytrap
on the Wind
from WKRP. But
watch me.
And
soar.
yes, and then Wash died at the end. It's very sad.
Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen that, that was what, 20 years ago now? Old farts.
No, I don't think it was. It's maybe 10. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's it's probably 10 to 15 years old, something like that. That seems about right.
2006. Yep. Almost
Chris
20.
Bricker, you are absolutely correct. It was a very great show, and I will always be a brown coat.
Well, they put it on at like the wrong time on the wrong network, and that's why it didn't do well, because everybody was watching something else. IT Crowd is good. Yeah, it's off the air though.
I'm trying to think of the British show I watched with Capaldi in it. He was a politician. He wasn't like the prime minister. He was like the guy that was behind the scenes making deals and everything. And it was hysterical. And if you like British humor, it was full of it. And Capaldi is just great.
Jim, I think that's as far as we can milk it.
We have stretched this one out like taffy.
All right, folks, thanks for joining. We got RPi Connect working, which is the replacement for Real BNC. What?
Frank.
The thick of it?
Frank, the thick of it. I think
See,
that's correct.
Jim, Frank is useful.
I would have gone, it was on Hulu, and I would have looked for David Capaldi and found it. But thank you, Frank.
Right.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, Firefly was Fox. How did you know I meant on a network that nobody watches?
Right.
All right, folks, see you later. Hitting the button. Tomorrow
Bye,
morning, live stream on my channel. We're doing some giveaways for Retevis radios and Red Audio batteries and Tesman wire strippers and a bunch of other stuff, and also talking about Prime Day deals. So see you all tomorrow morning.
And I won't, my boss is not at work tomorrow, so
you can join. Awesome.
I could join.
Rock on. See ya. And bye-bye.